We had our sights set on so many different variations of Super Bowl matchups. I don't think anyone expected to get this one.
Did that go the way you thought it was going to go? Nope.
Cincinnati vs. LA it is. There's obviously a lot to be excited about regarding the matchup. That said, we can't help but think these 10 other showdowns would have made for an even more entertaining Super Bowl 56 in Inglewood. Let's get right into it. Green Bay Packers vs. Kansas City Chiefs. We still haven't gotten one showdown between Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. How frustrating is that? Mahomes was out with a knee injury for the Packers-Chiefs 2019 regular season meeting, just when we thought the NFL's 17th game expansion would give us Rodgers vs. Mahomes in 2021. A-Rod had to miss the game after testing positive for COVID-19. Not to mention that the Packers lost in the 2019 and 2020 NFC Championship games, thus missing out on opportunities to face Mahomes' Chiefs in the big dance. So yeah, what more can we say here? New England Patriots vs. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Don't know how this isn't number one. I mean, what more could we have said here? The lone Tom Brady vs. Bill Belichick Bowl, which took place in Week 4, certainly lived up to the hype, though Belichick's defensive game plan kept Brady's offense largely in check. It was the Bucs who escaped Foxborough with the tight 19-17 victory. The advantage in that one went to Brady. But what if his career ended with a Super Bowl game against the coach who made him a legend? Would Brady match Belichick's 8 rings? Or would the Patriots add to their dynasty by taking down the man who left them 2 years ago? Seeing just one more version of Brady vs. Belichick on the grandest stage would have been epic. How would New England's defense hold up against the high-powered Tampa offense? Would the Pats get their heavy rushing game going after being beaten in Week 4? So many fun storylines to follow. And it would have been very fitting for New England to thwart the Bucs' bid at becoming the first team to repeat since the 2004 Patriots. Kind of interesting. On the flip side, it'd be such a Tom Brady thing to complete his second career Super Bowl repeat against his old team. One can only dream. Too bad. Hey, maybe he'll come out of retirement.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Buffalo Bills vs. Los Angeles Rams. We were just 2 Buffalo wins away from getting this dream Super Bowl matchup. You may recall the epic shootout these two teams engaged in back in Week 3 of the 2020 campaign. Josh Allen and Jared Goff each surpassed 300 passing yards, and they combined for 47 completions and 6 touchdowns. The Bills saw a 28-3 lead. Hey, that sounds familiar. Evaporate in the blink of an eye. But Allen found Tyler Kroft for the game-winning score in the waning seconds to help Buffalo avoid a collapse with a 35-32 victory. Well, we got news for you. This Rams offense was even more potent in 2021 with Matthew Stafford under center. At the same time, the Bills' defense returned to its dominant form in 2021, finishing tops in both yards and points allowed. So how would Sean McVay's high-powered offense fare against Sean McDermott's lockdown defense? How would Allen maneuver his way through the pass-rushing duo of Von Miller and Aaron Donald? This game would either be a back-and-forth shootout or a low-scoring defensive affair, and we would have been entertained one way or another. If it's any consolation, we see these two teams meet at SoFi Stadium in the 2022 season. Dallas Cowboys vs. Las Vegas Raiders. There'd be a lot to love about this matchup. 2 of the NFL's most storied franchises that happen to play in prominent markets. And despite the historic success of the Cowboys and Raiders, the last half-century has been awfully painful for these once proud organizations. So something would have to give here. Of course, it's not just the historic aspect that makes this battle so intriguing. The Cowboys and Raiders front 2 of the NFL's top aerial assaults. And in case you forgot, Dallas wideout Amari Cooper once played for the Silver and Black. Derek Carr and Dak Prescott went toe-to-toe in an epic Thanksgiving showdown at AT&T Stadium, which Vegas won 36-33 in overtime. That was a signature win that ultimately led the Raiders to their first playoff berth in 5 years. Would Dak Prescott and the all-hype, no-action Cowboys finally pull through and win the big one? Or would Mark Davis' roller coaster tenure finally lead to football's ultimate prize? Dak, Zeke, Cooper, and CD Lamb vs. Carr, Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller. Say no more. We needed this Super Bowl matchup more than the Rams vs. Bengals, that's for sure. Cincinnati Bengals vs. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Everybody loves a good the GOAT versus the future storyline. We did get 5 editions of Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes, but TB12's retirement means we'll never get to see him versus Joe Burrow.
The comparisons right now are you and Tom Brady. your response to that.
Please don't compare me to the best player of all time. All right, let me do my own thing.
A pity, because the Bengals and Bucs will be meeting at Raymond James Stadium next season. Brady put icing on the cake by taking down Mahomes' Chiefs in Super Bowl 55. Would he do it one more time by showing Joe Cool that it isn't the Bengals QB's time just yet? Or would there be a changing of the guard Super Bowl moment here that Mahomes couldn't quite accomplish yet against Brady a year ago? Seeing Burrow scheme up quick throws to his deep set of weapons against Tampa's resilient front seven would have been a sight to behold. Also, how would Cincy's surprisingly stingy defense hold up against the Bucs' prolific offense? Again, we'll never know. Tom just had to retire a year before playing against Burrow. Cincinnati Bengals versus San Francisco 49ers. Depending on how you want to look at it, the 49ers were one quarter, or one play, or one drive away from giving us San Fran versus Cincy in the Super Bowl. Part 3. These two teams met at Super Bowl 16 in the 1982 season. The 49ers went on to win the first Super Bowl of their dynasty that would produce 5 Lombardi trophies. 7 years later, Joe Montana hit John Taylor for the game-winning touchdown in the waning seconds of Super Bowl 23. To stick the dagger in the Bengals, who wouldn't reach another Super Bowl for 33 years. So yeah, the history there would be an epic storyline to start with. But also, don't forget that Joe Burrow and Jimmy Garoppolo engaged in a thrilling back-and-forth affair in Week 14, which saw the 49ers win 26-23 in overtime. So you know that the actual game itself would be a nail-biter. The main storyline would be that the Bengals' leaky offensive line against Nick Bosa and that San Fran front seven. Does Kyle Shanahan finally break the can't win the big one narrative? Does Jimmy G lead his team to a Super Bowl and put the whole Trey Lance experiment on hold? We were awfully close to a sequel from their Week 14 showdown, but it wasn't meant to be. New England Patriots versus San Francisco 49ers. If we couldn't get Brady versus Belichick in the Super Bowl, why not Belichick versus another one of his former QBs? Jimmy Garoppolo won 2 rings as Brady's backup in New England. You've probably heard the reports of Garoppolo's arrival causing a rift between the Brady-Belichick relationship. So there's that. And some stories out there suggest that Robert Kraft forced a reluctant Belichick to keep Brady and trade Jimmy G in 2017. In 2020, the 49ers came to New England and throttled the Patriots 33-6. But of course, the 2020 Pats didn't have Mac Jones, Matt Judon, Ramondre Stevenson, Kendrick Bourne, and Hunter Henry. So you'd think a rematch would be much closer this time around. Jimmy G would dominate the headlines, no doubt. But what about Shanahan versus Belichick? The former will never forget the collapse of his Atlanta Falcons when he served as their OC against the Patriots in Super Bowl 51. As old-time fans would love this matchup. Two teams built with physical smash-em-in-the-mouth front sevens and ground-and-pound offenses. Which coach would put together the better scheme to take advantage of their opponent's weaknesses? Did Shanahan learn anything after blowing that 28-3 lead last time against Belichick? It'd be must-watch TV. That much we know. Buffalo Bills versus Green Bay Packers. Not a whole lot needs to be said here, but we'll go into it anyway. Allen and Rodgers are 2 of the top 5 quarterbacks in the game, and that's just the start. There would be so much at stake here for 2 franchises. Would Allen and the Bills finally end the misery in Buffalo by bringing the city their first pro sports title since 1965? Would they finally be able to put the whole 4 Super Bowl losses in a row thing behind them? Or does A-Rod enhance his legacy by getting the long-awaited second Super Bowl ring? Which, you know, would somewhat silence the whole narrative that he's a career playoff underachiever. Though the Bills and Packers fielded stingy defenses in 2021, something tells us it'd be an offensive affair. Allen and Stephon Diggs going head-to-head with A-Rod and Davante Adams. Please, sign us up. At least we get the Bills versus Packers at some point in the 2022 regular season, so there's something to look forward to. Kansas City Chiefs versus Los Angeles Rams. Here's another epic Super Bowl matchup that we were so close to seeing. Just like we were close to getting it in Super Bowl 53, before the whole D Ford offside thing happened. Mahomes and Stafford were 2 of the NFL's premier quarterbacks in 2021. The latter took his game to a whole new level in year 1 as a Ram. So it goes without saying that this game would be another shootout between these 2 teams. I mean, you remember their Week 11 2018 Monday night game, right? We've been clamoring for a rematch ever since. Yeah, the 2 clubs will meet in the 2022 regular season, but that's a bit different than a Super Bowl matchup. Something tells us both quarterbacks would easily go for over 300 yards and multiple touchdowns. Most likely it'd come down to which team possessed possesses the ball last, if we've learned anything this postseason. And last time we checked, those are always the best Super Bowl games. Oh well, the window's open for both teams to meet in the Super Bowl somewhere down the road. Buffalo Bills versus Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, we know, both teams are in the AFC, so such a matchup is just impossible. But we wanted to have a little fun in this list, so bear with us. You saw that insane performance between the Bills and Chiefs in the divisional round at Arrowhead. 4 Gabriel Davis touchdowns. What? 3 lead changes and 4 scoring drives after the 2-minute warning. That game, which required overtime, was arguably the single best game in NFL history. Many labeled it as the unofficial AFC Championship matchup. But of course, the Bengals went on to defeat the Chiefs 7 days later to prove that theory wrong.
There you go. I just poked a huge hole in your logic.
Regardless, that Bills-Chiefs playoff matchup was so incredibly awesome and heart-pounding that we would not have complained if the NFL simply stepped in ordered a rematch for Super Bowl 56. Mahomes and Allen are the future of the NFL. They're going to engage in so many epic duels like this for years to come. The NFL should alter the rules for 1 year and make it possible for those 2 teams to meet in the Super Bowl. Not gonna happen, but we're allowed to dream, people, aren't we? What other Super Bowl matchups would you rather see than the Rams versus Bengals? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, we're on everything. Go subscribe, go follow. If you like this video, give it a like. It takes 1 click down below and subscribe to TPS. We post videos every day. Every day's a new video. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
On my knees.
Bye.